Hello guys and welcome. It's Engineering Rebel, and in this video I'm going to show you guys on how to change the brake pads on your car. In this particular case, you could see that we have disc brakes, and all we need to do is to replace both pads with these ceramic brakes. So let's begin. So obviously the first thing you're going to need to do is to jack up the car. Please do not jack up the car from the fuel tank. Jack it up from jacking points. Every car has it. Be sure to jack it up from those points. Never do it from the fuel tank or from this plastic sill. Otherwise you can end up damaging your car. And once you've done that, then you could remove the wheel and it should look something like this. So in this particular car, but most cars have this design. So what we're gonna first do is to remove the caliper, but in order to do that, we need to remove the brake lines bracket, and you can see that there's a bolt here. We need to remove that, and you can see this little hose is the brake line. So I need to remove this bolt in order for it to give us more working room. So as you could see, the brake line has been removed. The little bracket bolt has come off, and you could see it's free. Now we can remove the caliper. As you can see, the caliper is off, and that's the brake line. We have the caliper bolt, the little bracket bolt for the brake line, and we also have the old pads on here, which I need to remove. So let's go ahead and do that. So you could see that the pads are off, and you could see that there's barely any brake on them, and that the alarm is literally a hair away from touching the rotor. So the first thing you need to do is to remove this silencer shim, which is this thin metal piece, and put it on your new pads. You would do that using a flathead. Next, we're going to swap this metal brake alarm that I mentioned earlier and put it onto our new pads. Make sure that you put this metal brake alarm on the inner brake pad and not the outer. So in order to remove it, you will need to use a flathead and push it off just like that. And then put this protruding end facing outwards and not inwards where the pads are. So just like this, all you need to do is give it a push and it's in place. Next, we're gonna apply this special silicone grease to the back of the pads. So it'll be in between the pads and the silencer shim. Now that both of our pads are ready to go, all we have to do is to slide them in place. So now comes the fun part. Now we have to push the piston back in order for the caliper to go on the pads. So I'm going to use this little clamp-like tool. A clamp could also work. And I'm going to use the old brake pads as a shim in order to push it back into place. It's a smart idea to use this metal part towards the piston and the soft brake side towards the metal part of the clamp. So we just have to turn it and then it'll compress it in place. Now that it's been compressed, we can install the caliper. Now that our caliper is in place, now we're going to attach the brake line to this bracket. So all I need to do is put this hose into this little hole and then take its bolt and hand tighten it lightly in place to a point where it's in its tracks. Then I could use my tool to tighten it back in place. Finally, we get to put the wheel back along with the lug nuts, and we should be good to go. So the wheel has been properly put back in place and the lugs have been torqued down. I also went ahead and lowered the car, and I also cleaned the wheel. Now what you want to do is that you want to pump the brake a couple of times in order for the piston to re-engage with the new caliper along with the pads. I also went ahead and did that. So I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. More videos are to come. I will see you guys in the next one.